Everything you've been told about following your dreams and pursuing your passion is a dangerous lie that's keeping you poor and unsuccessful. The idea that you should do what you love and the money will follow is advice that only works if you're already wealthy enough to afford failure. For everyone else, it's a recipe for disappointment and financial disaster. The truth that no one wants to tell you is that you should follow the money first. Develop skills that the market rewards, and become passionate about getting results. Passion doesn't create success. Success creates passion. When you're excellent at something valuable, when you're making good money, when you're building security for your family, that's when you'll feel passionate about your work. While dreamers are chasing feelings, winners are chasing results. While idealists are following their hearts, realists are following proven systems that actually, life will knock you down. It will hit you so hard that you'll wonder if you'll ever get back up again. Right now, as you're listening to this, you might be in one of those moments. Maybe you've lost your job. Your business is failing. Your relationship has ended, or you're facing a health crisis that seems impossible to overcome. Maybe you're looking at your bank account and seeing numbers that terrify you. Maybe you're lying awake at night wondering how you're going to pay next month's rent or mortgage. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. This is exactly where you're supposed to be. This moment of struggle, this feeling of being overwhelmed, this sense that the walls are closing in around you, this is not your punishment. This is your preparation. I want to share with you the story of a woman named Maria. 5 years ago, Maria had everything going for her. She had a successful marketing company, a beautiful home, 2 cars in the driveway, and money in the bank. She was confident, successful, and proud of what she had built. Then, in the space of just 6 months, everything fell apart. The economy shifted. Her biggest clients left. Her business partner stole money and disappeared. And she found herself $200 0 cents in debt, with no income and no prospects. Maria told me that she would sit in her empty office, the one she couldn't afford to keep much longer, and cry. She would look at the stack of bills on her desk and feel physically sick. She had gone from being a successful entrepreneur to someone who couldn't even afford groceries. She had to move back in with her parents at the age of 35. She felt like a complete failure. But here's what Maria discovered, and here's what you need to understand. That moment of complete breakdown was actually her moment of breakthrough. When everything she thought she could depend on was stripped away, she found something inside herself that she never knew existed. She found her real strength, her real character, her real determination. You see, when life is easy, when everything is going our way, we never really know what we're made of. We think we're strong, but we're actually just comfortable. We think we're confident, but we're actually just lucky. We think we're capable, but we're actually just riding a wave that could end at any moment. The truth is that every single person who has ever achieved anything significant has faced moments of complete despair. Every successful business owner has had nights where they wondered if they should just give up. Every great athlete has had moments where they wanted to quit. Every loving parent has had times when they felt like they were failing their children. Every person who has ever built something meaningful has faced periods where it seemed like everything was falling apart. This is not an accident. This is not bad luck. This is not punishment from the universe. This is life's way of testing you, of preparing you, of forging you into the person you need to become to handle the success that's coming your way. Think about it this way. If you wanted to build a bridge that could handle heavy traffic, you wouldn't test it with toy cars. You would put massive weights on it. You would shake it. You would stress it to its limits. Only then would you know if it could handle what you needed it to handle. Life is doing the same thing to you right now. It's testing your bridge, your foundation, your character, to see if you're ready for what's coming next. Most people don't understand this. Most people think that successful people are just lucky, that they had it easier, that they were born with advantages. But that's not true. Success is not about avoiding hard times. Success is about getting through hard times. It's about what you do when everything goes wrong, not what you do when everything goes right. The people who win in life are not the ones who never face challenges. They are the ones who face the same challenges as everyone else, but respond differently. They are the ones who get knocked down just as hard as everyone else, but get back up faster. They are the ones who experience the same setbacks, the same failures, the same disappointments, but they refuse to let those experiences define them. Right now, you might be thinking that your situation is different. You might be thinking that what you're facing is worse than what others have faced. You might be thinking that you don't have what it takes to get through this. But you're wrong. You do have what it takes. You wouldn't be here listening to this if you didn't have what it takes. The fact that you're still fighting, still looking for answers, still trying to find a way forward, proves that you have the one quality that separates winners from losers. You haven't given up. You might be tired, you might be scared, you might be frustrated, but you haven't quit. And as long as you haven't quit, you still have a chance to win. Maria didn't quit either. She took a minimum wage job at a coffee shop to pay for basic expenses. She moved back in with her parents. She sold everything she owned. But she also did something else. She started learning. She read every book she could find about business, about success, about overcoming failure. She started a small consulting business from her parents' basement. She worked 18-hour days, 7 days a week. It took her 3 years to pay off her debt and another 2 years to build her new business to the point where it was more successful than her first one had ever been. Today, Maria owns multiple businesses, has financial security, and more importantly, has an unshakable confidence that comes from knowing she can handle whatever life throws at her. The hard times you're facing right now are not your enemy. They are your teacher. They are your trainer. They are your opportunity to become the person you need to become to create the life you want to live. But knowing that hard times are preparation doesn't make them feel any easier when you're in the middle of them, when you're struggling to pay bills, when you're facing rejection after rejection, when people doubt you and circumstances seem stacked against you. It's not enough to just know that this is good for you. You need to know how to handle it mentally. You need to understand that your mind is either your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. Let me ask you something. What are you saying to yourself right now when you wake up in the morning? What's the first thought that goes through your head? When you look in the mirror, what voice do you hear? When you think about your future, what story are you telling yourself? Most people are losing the battle before they even start because they're fighting against themselves. They're their own worst enemy. They wake up and immediately start the negative self-talk. I can't do this. This is too hard. I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough money. I don't have the right connections. Other people are luckier than me. But here's what successful people understand. Your thoughts create your reality, not your circumstances, not your past, not what other people think about you. Your thoughts, the conversation you have with yourself all day long, is determining whether you're going to succeed or fail. When Maria was sitting in that empty office, drowning in debt, she had two choices. She could listen to the voice that said, "You're a failure. You're never going to recover from this. You should just give up." Or she could listen to the voice that said, "This is temporary. You've overcome challenges before. You can figure this out." The difference between people who succeed and people who don't isn't their circumstances. It's which voice they choose to listen to. It's which story they tell themselves about what's happening to them. Think about two people facing the exact same situation. Both lose their jobs on the same day. Both have the same amount of money in the bank. Both have the same family responsibilities. One person sees this as proof that life is unfair, that they're unlucky, that they're destined to struggle. The other person sees this as an opportunity to find something better, to learn new skills, to start fresh. Which person do you think is going to bounce back faster? Which person do you think is going to find new opportunities? Which person do you think is going to be happier 6 months from now? Your mind is like a computer. It will process whatever information you feed it. If you feed it negative thoughts, it will give you negative results. If you feed it positive thoughts, it will give you positive results. If you tell yourself you can't do something, your mind will find evidence to prove you right. If you tell yourself you can do something, your mind will find ways to make it happen. I know a man named Robert who was diagnosed with a serious illness at age 45. The doctors gave him 2 years to live. Some people would have given up, would have spent those 2 years feeling sorry for themselves, waiting to die. But Robert decided to do something different. He decided to live those 2 years as if they were the best years of his life. He started a business he had always dreamed of starting. He traveled to places he had always wanted to see. He spent quality time with his family. He learned new skills. He helped other people facing similar challenges. He told himself every day, I'm going to make the most of whatever time I have. That was 15 years ago. Robert is still alive, still healthy, still running his business. The doctors don't know how to explain it, but Robert knows. He knows that when you change your thoughts, you change your life. He knows that your mind is more powerful than your circumstances. The mental game is not about positive thinking. It's about realistic thinking. It's about focusing on what you can control instead of what you can't control. It's about asking better questions. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of asking, how can I get out of this? Ask, how can I get through this stronger? Your mind is your weapon, but like any weapon, it's only as effective as your ability to use it. Right now, you have the power to choose your thoughts. You have the power to choose your focus. You have the power to choose your response to whatever is happening in your life. But having the right mindset is only half the battle. You can think positive thoughts all day long, but if you're not taking action, you're just dreaming. Action is what turns your thoughts into reality. Action is what separates the people who talk about change from the people who actually create change. When everything seems to be going wrong, when you don't know which way to turn, when every door seems closed, there's still one thing you can always do. You can take action. Not just any action, but the right action. Let me give you a simple formula that has worked for thousands of people in the darkest moments of their lives. First, identify the one thing you can control right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, right now. Maybe you can't control the economy, but you can control how many job applications you send out today. Maybe you can't control your health diagnosis, but you can control what you eat for your next meal. Maybe you can't control your debt, but you can control whether you make that phone call to negotiate a payment plan. Most people get overwhelmed because they try to solve everything at once. They look at the mountain of problems in front of them and feel paralyzed. But successful people understand that you don't climb a mountain by staring at the top. You climb it one step at a time, focusing only on the next step in front of you. Second, take that one action, no matter how small it seems. Motion creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates results. When you're stuck, the worst thing you can do is nothing. Any action is better than no action, because action gives you information, it gives you feedback, it gives you data about what works and what doesn't work. I knew a man named David who lost his construction business during the recession. He had been in business for 20 years, employed 30 people, and overnight he had to close everything down. He was 52 years old, had no college education, and owed more money than he could count. Most people his age would have given up, would have accepted that their best days were behind them. But David didn't give up. He couldn't get a loan to start another construction company, so he did something different. He bought a used pickup truck and started doing small handyman jobs. One job at a time, one customer at a time, one day at a time. People told him he was crazy, that he was going backwards, that he should just get a regular job working for someone else. But David understood something that most people don't. Forward motion is forward motion, regardless of the size of the steps. He kept taking action, kept serving customers, kept building his reputation one job at a time. Within 2 years, he had hired his first employee. Within 5 years, he had a team of 15 people today. 10 years later, his handyman business is more successful than his construction company ever was. The third part of the formula is to measure your progress and adjust your actions based on what you learn. If something isn't working, don't keep doing it, try something different. If something is working, do more of it. Success is not about finding the perfect plan and executing it perfectly. Success is about starting with an imperfect plan and improving it as you go. Action beats meditation every time. You can spend years planning the perfect business, or you can start an imperfect business today and make it better tomorrow. You can spend months looking for the perfect job, or you can take any job that pays the bills while you keep looking for something better when you're facing hard times. Action is your lifeline. It's your way out of the darkness. It's your proof that you're not helpless, that you're not a victim, that you still have power over your life. Now, let me tell you something that might sound strange. The hard times you're going through right now are actually your best friend. I know that sounds crazy when you're struggling to make ends meet, when you're facing rejection after rejection, when it feels like everything is working against you. But hear me out. Character is not built during the good times. Character is built during the hard times. When life is easy, when money is flowing, when everything is going your way, you don't need character. You don't need strength. You don't need perseverance. You don't need courage. But when life gets hard, when the pressure is on, when you're facing your darkest hour, that's when your real character is forged. Think about a piece of steel. When it's first made, it's soft and weak. But when you heat it up, when you hammer it, when you put it through intense pressure and stress, it becomes strong. It becomes durable. It becomes capable of supporting massive weight and withstanding tremendous force. The same process that would destroy a weaker material makes steel stronger. You are going through your steel-making process right now. Every challenge you face, every setback you experience, every moment when you want to give up but choose to keep going instead, is making you stronger. It's building qualities in you that you could never develop any other way. I want to tell you about a woman named Jennifer who lost her husband in a car accident when she was 35 years old. She was left with 3 young children, no life insurance, and a mortgage she couldn't afford. She had been a stay-at-home mother for 10 years and had no recent work experience. She was scared, alone, and didn't know how she was going to survive. But Jennifer discovered something about herself during that dark time. She discovered that she was much stronger than she had ever imagined. She discovered that she could work 2 jobs and still be a good mother. She discovered that she could go back to school at night and still manage a household. She discovered that she could face rejection and keep trying. She discovered that she could solve problems she never thought she could handle. The tragedy that could have destroyed her actually revealed her true strength. The hardship that could have broken her actually made her unbreakable. Today, 15 years later, Jennifer owns her own business, has put all 3 of her children through college, and has become a source of strength and inspiration for other women facing similar challenges. The qualities that make people successful are not developed in comfort zones. They are developed in struggle zones. Persistence is developed by facing obstacles. Creativity is developed by solving problems. Courage is developed by facing fears. Confidence is developed by overcoming challenges. Leadership is developed by helping others through difficult times. Easy times make weak people. Hard times make strong people. When everything is handed to you, when you never have to struggle, when you never have to fight for anything, you don't develop the muscles you need to handle real challenges. You become soft. You become dependent. You become fragile. But when you have to fight for everything, when you have to earn every victory, when you have to overcome obstacles just to survive, you develop an inner strength that no one can take away from you. You develop a confidence that comes from knowing you can handle whatever life throws at you. It's quite different than that built right now. You might feel like you're being punished. You might feel like life is unfair. You might feel like you're going through more than you can handle. But what's really happening is that you're being prepared. You're being trained. You're being equipped with the skills and qualities you're going to need for the next level of your life. The difference between people who let hard times destroy them and people who use hard times to build an extraordinary life comes down to one thing: the victory mindset. It's not about pretending that everything is fine when it's not. It's not about ignoring your problems or acting like they don't exist. It's about understanding that your current situation is not your permanent destination. The victory mindset starts with a simple but powerful truth: this too shall pass. Whatever you're going through right now, however difficult it may be, however impossible it may seem, it will not last forever. You will get through this. You will come out on the other side. And when you do, you will be stronger, wiser, and more capable than you were before. But here's the key. You don't have to wait until you get through it to start winning. You can start winning right now, in the middle of your struggle. You can start creating your comeback story while you're still in the middle of your setback. You can start building your future success on the foundation of your current challenges. Let me tell you about a man named Thomas who understood this principle better than almost anyone I've ever met. Thomas was born into poverty in a small town where most people never made it out. His father left when he was 7 years old. His mother worked 3 jobs just to keep food on the table. Thomas wore hand-me-down clothes to school and was often hungry because there wasn't enough money for lunch. When Thomas was 12 years old, his mother got sick and couldn't work anymore. Thomas had to get a job after school to help pay the bills. While other kids were playing sports or hanging out with friends, Thomas was working in a grocery store, stocking shelves and carrying bags for customers. He was tired all the time. His grades started to slip. His teachers told him he wasn't college material. Most people would have accepted that life was unfair, that they were destined to struggle, that they should just accept their circumstances. But Thomas made a decision that changed everything. He decided that his current situation was not going to determine his future destination. He decided that he was going to use every challenge, every setback, every obstacle as fuel for his future success. Thomas started reading every book he could get his hands on. He couldn't afford to buy books, so he spent hours in the library. He read about successful people who had overcome difficult circumstances. He read about business, about investing, about personal development. He read during his lunch breaks at work. He read before bed when he was exhausted. He read because he knew that knowledge was the one thing that no one could take away from him. When Thomas was 16, he started his first business. It was nothing fancy. He just noticed that many of his neighbors were elderly and needed help with yard work and small repairs around their houses. So he started a small service business, working evenings and weekends. He saved every penny he made. People told him he was wasting his time, that he should focus on his studies, that he should just get a regular job like everyone else. But Thomas had a different vision. He saw his current struggles not as evidence that he was destined to fail, but as training for the success that was coming by the time Thomas graduated from high school. He had saved enough money to start a small landscaping business. He worked 18-hour days, 7 days a week. He did the work that other contractors didn't want to do. He showed up when others didn't show up. He solved problems that others couldn't solve. He treated every customer like they were his only customer. Within 5 years, Thomas had built the largest landscaping company in his area. He employed 30 people, many of whom were from his old neighborhood, people who had been written off by others, but who Thomas saw potential in. He had moved his mother into a beautiful home and made sure she never had to worry about money again. But Thomas didn't stop there. He used the success of his landscaping business to launch other ventures. He started a construction company, then a real estate development firm. He invested in other businesses, mentored young entrepreneurs, and gave back to his community. Today, 30 years later, Thomas is worth over $50 million and has created thousands of jobs. But here's what Thomas will tell you. The money is not what he's most proud of. What he's most proud of is the person he became in the process. The challenges that could have broken him instead made him unbreakable. The poverty that could have limited him instead taught him the value of every dollar. The rejection that could have discouraged him instead made him more determined. The obstacles that could have stopped him instead taught him how to find solutions. Thomas turned his pain into power. He used his struggles as stepping stones instead of stumbling blocks. He understood that his current situation was temporary, but the character he was building was permanent. He knew that the lessons he was learning in the struggle were going to serve him for the rest of his life. You have the same opportunity right now. You have the chance to turn your current pain into future power. You have the chance to use your struggles as fuel for your success. You have the chance to build a comeback story that will inspire others for years to come. The victory mindset is not about denying your current reality. It's about refusing to let your current reality become your permanent identity. It's about understanding that where you are right now is not where you're going to stay. It's about believing that your best days are not behind you, they're ahead of you every single day. You have a choice. You can choose to see yourself as a victim of your circumstances, or you can choose to see yourself as a victor over your circumstances. You can choose to focus on what's wrong with your life, or you can choose to focus on what's possible in your life. You can choose to let your current situation define you. The truth is, you are stronger than you think. You are more capable than you believe. You are more resilient than you know. You have survived every difficult day of your life so far, and you will survive this one too. But more than that, you will thrive. You will overcome. You will win no matter how hard it gets, no matter how difficult the road ahead may seem, no matter how many times you've been knocked down. You have the power to get back up. You have the power to keep going. You have the power to turn your current struggle into your future strength. Your victory story is being written right now. Every day you don't give up. Every day you choose to fight. Every day you take another step forward. You're writing another chapter in your comeback story. The ending is not determined by how you started. The ending is determined by how you finish. Don't give up. Your breakthrough is closer than you think.